Hello, and welcome to Simple Life Philosophy. I'm your host, Ed Raby, and this is a channel where you follow along on my journey to find a simpler philosophy of life that is both easy to understand and execute, that leads me to peace of mind and being productive. I want to thank everybody for liking and sharing and subscribing. Do the things that YouTubers do, and hit those buttons and help me out with the channel. I've really been growing. Recently broke 100, and now I'm working for 250. So that's the new goal, is 250. So we'll see how long it takes for us to get there. Seem to be going pretty well. Uh, Today I want to do a personal journey post. I know Sunday is usually the Sunday Stoic. That's what I've been trying to do, but this week got a little chaotic, and so I've missed a couple of videos. There definitely wasn't going to be one Saturday, and then Thursday I recorded a video Thursday, and I just did not like it. And I'd spent like an hour and a half on it, and it was just very frustrating. And I did that Wednesday, and then I was like, I just don't have anything for Thursday. And then a few other things came up, and a slight bout of depression, and a few other things that happened. I've talked about the up and down curve that I'm trying to do, that I'm trying to level out those curves a little bit. But it just, things haven't worked out that well for the YouTube front. Um, so today I'm going to do a personal journey post. I try to do one of these every week, and the reason I do them is for my own benefit, but I hope that by talking about my journey, somebody else can be inspired or looked at things like that, and just kind of look at the highs and lows of my life. That's kind of the theme for today's episode, because it's been a week of highs and lows. It's been a couple weeks of highs and lows. Going back to July 4th, my grandson was born. Um, you know, he's affectionately known by me as DJ. I know his mother will probably hate the fact that I use his initials instead of his actual name. I don't know, I haven't come up with a pet name for him yet, but he's a cute little bugger, and got some great pictures of. We got some great pictures the next day on the 5th, and my daughter's a real trooper. She got out of the hospital like 11 in the morning or something, came home. We had lunch with all three of my kids in the same place, and all the grandkids together, and and my mother and my ex, and all of us were together, and that's a very rare moment. And then we went down to the local park, and we have a professional photographer kind of do a lot of family pictures. And so the 5th was really a full day, and because of that, on Tuesday, on the 4th, I had asked for the 6th off because I knew I was going to be tired. Took the day off, just kind of exhausted, had a nice, good 3-day weekend, which is a rare thing for me. And, I got some things done. And I've talked about a little bit of this, but after I came out of that, I've kind of been struggling. Okay, it was a nice high, but after that, it kind of bottomed out. I went to work, get out of work. The one high that's been happening with my routines is the morning routine is solid. I get up, I make my bed, I do my stretches, I get dressed, I head to the gym, I hit the gym, do all my hygiene stuff at the gym, go to work, have a good day at work usually because I feel better because I've worked out. But then as soon as I get out of work, it's like it's a crash, okay? And I have a real hard time struggling through getting stuff done, like these videos. And the thing is, health-wise, I'm starting to feel a lot better. And I've always put a priority on health. I really think that that's important, because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And so because start to lose options when you're unhealthy. There's certain things you can't do. There's certain jobs you can't do. And right now, my job is both mentally and physically intensive, so I try to, keep up with things. I mean, not so mentally intensive. It's more of an organizational thing. It challenges my organizational mind than anything else. So I'm having, up until 1 o'clock when I get out of work in the afternoon, I'm doing pretty good. And then I get out of work, and it's like a weight just comes off my shoulders, and I just want to crash. And I do come home, and I manage to like get ready for the next day, and I get, this week has been kind of, last week was kind of like that, where I got ready for the next day. I was doing fine. did a video, but it just didn't work out. And the lows kind of hit me with, do I have the energy to do all the things that I need to do or want to do? And I'm really looking at my life and simplifying it again. Um, do I, when it comes to writing, for instance, do I want to narrow it down to one thing that I write on? Like I hit, I hit, I hit the YouTube channel, I hit the writing, I clean a little bit, um, garden a little bit, and then that's a day. Is that kind of the evening routine? Do I establish an evening routine where the same stuff happens every day? And I think I may have to try it. I may have to try that kind of rotation and see if it works. It's just I like having multiple writing projects because then I don't get bored. So I don't know if that would work out from that standpoint. So there's just a lot of lows there of trying to get this afternoon evening schedule locked down. But the morning has been really good. So I've got the high of the morning, the middle end of going to work, and then the low of coming home and trying to fight my way through being ambitious because I'd rather just relax most of the time. And relaxation means kicking back with a computer game or looking at a book, reading a book a little bit. And so I don't know. I've been trying to find ways to make that afternoon routine work a little bit better. And for you guys, for YouTube and things like that, that's important. So I've been struggling with that a little bit. Um, though I've had some highs as far as understanding my autism, as far as possible autism, I guess, as far as my hypersensitivity, because there's been a lot of things like I used to think a lot of things were allergies. Now I'm like, no, it might just be hypersensitivity. It's just like but one of the things that's kind of a low with the hypersensitivity, because I wonder about hypersensitivity in the sense that it makes certain senses more heightened, more acute. You see more things that more normal people don't see. But as a trade off, because there always seems to be a trade off with life and everything you gain or lose, is the trade off two things in me for me particular. Like I don't have like a sense of pain as much as most people, I think. I've lost track of the number of times where I've been working, I've got a scrape or bump or bruise or cut, and just straight up did not notice that it happened. Okay, the cold, for instance, doesn't bother me that much. It actually makes me feel kind of normal. So it makes me wonder if there's a trade-off with if you're hypersensitive in some senses, and the trade-off is other things just aren't as sensitive. And so kind of there's pros and cons to all of it. So um, I've had you know I think I talked about my discussions that I did have with my sons about what's going on with me, and I have to say that that was one of the best times I've had in a while. I miss my boys. I miss my oldest son to death. The fact that he's so far away. I'm not one for phone conversations or text conversations. It's bore me to tears. I'd rather be in person. And I miss just having him around to talk to. When they were growing up and they all hit their high school days and Ed went to college and all of that was just really good for me. Okay, I loved having adult conversations with my kids, and I still have that with my daughter and occasionally with my middle child. But having both my boys, both my sons together myself, it was really a man's, night out, and I just enjoyed that immensely. It was good discussion. My son kind of pressed in about what was going on with me. I think I've gotten to the point where I hope people understand, because I talked about in other personal journey posts about how when I was teaching, I was experiencing these almost blackouts. Like I'd be going along and I just, almost, pass out, black out, whatever. And that's one of the reasons why I came home so quickly. But I'm beginning to understand what probably happened there. One, my hypersensitivity just did not like the city. Uh, I've told people this before when it comes to the cities. I probably can't live in a city. I just can't. I can live in a small town. Because there's the one thing I have here that I didn't have in Houston. I don't hear a siren every night. like two or three of them every night, waking me up. Um, the smell, you know, here's the thing about my little small town that I live in. It doesn't smell like seawater and petroleum mixed together all the time, along with car exhaust, because that's what Houston smells like. Houston smells like car exhaust combined with petroleum combined with salt water. That's what it smells like. And I'll be honest, I'm just so glad to be away from that smell. You could drop me down in Houston and blindfold me, and I could probably tell you I was there simply by taking a couple sniffs. And it's probably why my nose was always plugged up. So the hypersensitivity was getting to me. My job was getting to me because I was dealing with probably 200 people a day, between 160 some kids and other professionals breathing down my throat, and me trying to deal with my homesickness and my loneliness and all the other crap. I think even though in my brain I was fine, I'm like, it's just a pressure situation. I'll get through it. I'll be done here. Sure, we only got half a year ago. My nervous system was saying, screw this. Okay, so how does that play in today? I haven't had a blackout episode since I've been home, so I think some of the hypersensitivity of having to deal with unfamiliar situations or situations my nervous system doesn't like is gone. My loneliness is a lot less. The aforementioned conversation with my two sons at breakfast was, it helped a lot with that. Um, Being near my family, seeing my grandkids on a regular basis. There's just a lot of highs here as far as that problem seems to have completely disappeared. And I know it exists, so now I struggle. From certain other points, I I struggle with other lows because I still want a new partner. I want a new life partner. I want another woman in my life so badly sometimes because I I know this is going to sound awful. I miss being married, but I don't miss my ex. And that's kind of a hard thing for me to say. I just don't miss the relationship that I had, but I sure as hell miss the marriage. And people ask me, what do you miss the most? You know, gosh, I know it's little things. Just like knowing somebody's there in case you keel over. I miss back scratching, back rubs. Because I can't reach that part of my body. And I'm happy to give one in return. Intimacy, all that stuff. But and just I want to be with somebody that doesn't make me lonely and things like that. So that's kind of a if I get depressed, it's usually I'm thinking about that. I mean, are you going to be alone forever? Are you going to not have somebody in your life that you love and care for? And I think that really hits me hard sometimes. Uh, and being autistic, I have a hard time. I mean, I'll be honest. I really think sometimes women flirt with me, and I just don't pick it up. I don't get it. Okay, I just don't register that that's what they're doing. Okay, and that's why you know I think if a woman's going to flirt with me, she has to be really overt about it. She can't be like subtle. And the problem with flirting is flirting tends to be subtle. So that tends to be a low. But the family has been good. I mean, Wednesday, I went over to my daughter's house and I held my new grandson for a couple hours, and it was just good therapy. Just made me feel good. I did have a moment there where I was just thinking about how much I missed certain aspects of being a parent, like holding a baby. Holding all my kids when they were babies was a real high moment. And a lot of parents out there, some of you will listen to that and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. So, um, but holding my grandson for a couple hours was good therapy. But there's other parts of that day that were a little bit lower, not in a bad way, but just kind of opened my eyes to a few things. I don't know, I have my moments where things are going well and I struggle. It's a real highs and lows time of life right now, and I'm trying to get past some of the lows. Just try to get into that rhythm. I know why I struggle with creativity. I need creativity because it really helps with my depression and my anxiety and things like that. Because whenever I'm creative, I don't feel those things. Okay, but I know what's missing. I need a muse. I need a woman in my life that inspires me to write that way. I discovered something that when I'm in love, my creativity level jumps. It doesn't just double; it like triples. Okay, and some of the best creative moments I've had have been when I've been in love, and I need that again. I know I need it if I'm ever going to be truly creative again. I can do it without it. It's just a lot more work. It's just the lack of inspiration. Just really, I can do like general beauty, general, femininity, things inspire me, things like that. I'm a pretty typical bachelor in that point. I like, you know, women still inspire me, like my mother and my daughter. It's just not the same, okay, as somebody you're in love with, in a different way. So I know that that's what's missing, and it's kind of a hard revelation because I don't know when that's going to end, and it's kind of a continual struggle. Um, Last thing I want to talk about, I guess, is transparency. I've talked about being transparent on this channel now. I hope all of you realize that there are some things that only my therapist knows, okay, and some things only my therapist will know. I try to be as transparent for the rest of you if you're struggling with some of the same issues that I am, and you're searching for the same philosophy of life as I am. I try to be transparent. I guess when I look at it now, it's like this channel is very much like having a new pulpit again. It's like having that lectern and pulpit again that I used to have when I was a preacher. And like the Sunday Stoic is kind of, okay, this is the creed. Okay, I don't want to make it a religious analogy too far with that, but it's like, okay, Stoicism is the center, it's the creed. The other philosophies are kind of supporting teaching. And then I get to the practical applications on Thursday. But here I'm doing personal journey, and the reason I do a personal journey is I want to have the one thing that I didn't have in the ministry, which is the ability to be transparent with people and with everybody. Now, the real problem with transparency is mostly societal, because I hear women all the time. I wish that my man who I was with would be more transparent about his emotions. And then I would watch that same person, suddenly the guy gets transparent with emotions, and the first person to yell at him about doing that is the very woman that was asking him to be transparent about his emotions. The one thing I've learned about being a man in Western society is transparency is hard. It is very, very definitely difficult because we are told all our lives as men to be strong and to guard and to stand. And we also know something else that, I can't remember where I heard this, but this week somebody was talking about, they were a woman that does interviews talking about transparency, and she was talking to a man, and the man asked her, hey, what men have you done in the study? Well, I don't do that, any men. And his response, well, that's kind of convenient, isn't it? He says, well, here's the thing. I know for a fact that the group of people that's going to yell at me the most for being too transparent is going to be the very women in my life that you're asking to be transparent to. He says the one thing that will happen is no matter what, they do not want me to get off my horse or fall off my horse or anything. They want me to stay on that charger with my sword on my hip and do the thing I need to do. And boy, is that so telling of Western society, isn't it? We claim to be so flippant enlightened, and yet there's a very traditional, be a man, stay on their horse. And I know one thing about being on that horse that I find very true, is if I fall off my horse, there ain't nobody coming to help me, okay? And I've learned that through hard knocks. And it's not that I don't have friends, it's not that I don't have family, it's just some of them are going to be the hardest on me for being transparent if I fall off that horse with that kind of transparency. And so there's still a guarded nature to this, but I want to be more transparent than I was in the ministry about what I'm going through. And that's why I do these things. That's why I do these kind of videos. So I just wanted to make that clear, why, what level of transparency you're getting and why I do it. Um, Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate all of you. This has been Ed Raby. I've been your host, Ed Raby. This is Simple Life Philosophy, and I trust that all of you continue to learn and grow and be better people. That's kind of one of my goals for you, is to kind of challenge your thinking, challenge the way you look at the world. Keep building bridges instead of burning them. Okay, keep looking at people, all people, you know, regardless of how distasteful they may be to you. Remember that people are still human beings, and you're not making yourself better by despising somebody because they don't hold the same view as you or anything like that. So keep that in mind. We're all humans walking this planet, and we're all ignorant of a lot of things, but we should be on a quest for a simplicity of life where we walk in peace and productivity. And that's my general hope for all of you, that you continue to do that. Thanks for every like, share, subscribe. I appreciate all of you that comment. Always make sure you give me your comments. I love feedback, even if it's bad, because then I can keep going forward. Sorry for the raspy voice today. I don't know what it is, but there's something in the air that my throat and nose are hypersensitive to, and they're just having a hard time with it today. So thank you for listening through that. Appreciate all of you. You have a great day, and I'll see you again next time.